Thanks for joining us. This is Live with Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael Miller. Our guest today, Frank Calderon with the Miami-Dade Solid Waste Department, and our beautiful young guest, Liz Biswell, who's wearing the big green shirt that says, "Let's clean things." Did we get that right? Let's clean things up. All right. So, Liz, tell us what that means. All right.
Okay, Let's Clean Things Up. It's a Miami-Dade County initiative put together by several of our departments for active citizens in their community to come together and clean problem areas in their neighborhood where they see a lot of litter or where litter is an issue, whether that is on the side of the streets or maybe a park. It's for them to come together, make up an event where they can volunteer or bring together people and clean up on like a Saturday morning if they want, for example.
By the way, I want to thank you for joining us. This is the first time, folks. He's here live, and Frank, tell us about how people can join in this effort.
A lot of this is a lot of these events are generated typically by one of our county commissioners, one of their offices, where they know they have spots in their district, and they want to have a cleanup. We have had one in your neck of the woods, as a matter of fact. I told you about
Horse Country.
In Horse Country, in that area, specifically south of Kendall Regional Medical Center.
We love that wherever we are. We love that.
It was actually generated by. We did one a few years back before COVID, and then they did one. We were a little bit hands off the second time around, but it was generated mostly by the state representative for that district,
Anthony Rodriguez, I believe.
Anthony Rodriguez, yes. And we also worked, of course, with Senator Javier Soto, who's the commissioner, county commissioner for District 10, which is in that area as well. And the first one we were more hands-on. The second one we weren't as much hands-on because of the COVID, but we provided the materials, the garbage bags, the pickup sticks, for people to go by. And we had a large group of volunteers, at least the first time I was physically present to that one. And they came through, they went down 118th Avenue, I believe it is, down to about where the church is, maybe a little bit past that, which I think is like the halfway point between Bird and Miller, about 48th Street, I think. And they went down and picked up like a lot of the stuff that's on the side of the road that unfortunately.
It's interesting, Liz. When you drive in your car and you look, it doesn't look like there's much debris unless it's like dumped there. But what you realize when you walk it or when you're on a bicycle, you look down, Frank, and you go, "Oh, there's a bottle, there's a plastic bottle, there's a gum wrapper, there's this." All of a sudden, when you put it together, you go, "Oh, here's the 10th 55-gallon bag of material." By the way, I do want to thank your department for picking up the old tar pot, is that what it's called, on 118th?
You told me about that, yeah.
And they did pick it up, so my hat's off. But what you realize is the time, energy, and expense that goes into picking this stuff up off the ground. It's not free. So somebody dumps it there because it's more convenient. But somebody had to report it. Somebody had to go out and look at it. Then they had to call somebody else to come out and get it. It's got to be with the right truck and however they get it into wherever it's going, right? And instead of somebody just taking it and disposing it. So for the Let's Clean It Up things, if somebody's got a neighborhood watch group, right, and they seem to be a good homeowners group type of things, if they want to participate in Let's Clean Up Our Neighborhood, how would they do that, Liz?
Okay, they can either email us. Well, they can visit miamidade.gov/Let's Clean Things Up. That will put them on our volunteer list. So if we have an upcoming event that we're hosting or organizing, they can attend that. They'll be notified immediately through the emails, or they can email us at or
DSWM
at miamidade.gov. Sorry.
All right. So one of the things we recognize is when there's a group of people that want to participate, we know that it's the first time is a really good time to set it up for the next couple of times, because it's the, if you will, when you fly in a plane, it's getting off the ground that's the problem, not when you're up there. So can somebody lay out the plan and say, listen, here's what we want. We want to do it in September. We want to do it right before Christmas. We want to do one for spring.
Yes, that would be ideal. So ideally, that community group that wants to create these Let's Clean Things Up events in their neighborhood, they're committing to adopting that little piece of the neighborhood for at least 4 months so that they can make sure that the results are there and that they're taking care of it and that no litter is coming back. So ideally, they reach out to us at dswm@miamidade.gov. They email us, they let us know, hey, we want to organize this. This is when we're thinking, this is where, because we want to make sure it's a public land, it's not private property. And this is about how many people we're thinking. How can you help us? We'll let them know, we'll organize it. And then, yes, ideally, they'll say every first Friday or first Saturday for the next 4 months. But if they don't have it that far in advance, we recommend at least once a month so that you're not tiring out the volunteers if you're going every single week.
So Frank, is there like a like letters that other groups have sent out that so that the homeowners group say, listen, we want to send it out to our homeowners association. You say, if you like, you can prepare your own, but here's some guidance that we've used in other groups. Is that available?
I don't know. Liz has, she's more well versed in this
Frank,
than I am.
We're gonna have to go home. She's gonna have her own show here pretty soon. So,
yeah, definitely.
So the county can help them form that in the sense of here's 10 questions you could ask. You're interested, how many people would participate? Here's what the homeowners group and/or the county could supply on that. Now, occasionally I see signs on the side of the road that said, sometimes it says, what does it say? Maintained by or clean up by?
Or adopt. I think that's a state program for state roads, which is, it's a pretty good program. It's very similar to what we do. The folks who commit to that, I don't know all the details on the program, but the folks who commit to that, of course, I think they let them, they have the sign up for about a year, as long as they commit to, but they're supposed to commit to a year. I don't know how frequently they're supposed to go out there. They would clean up the right of way and on that stretch of road that they quote unquote adopt. If I'm not mistaken about the state program.
Right. And I think as school, if that ever gets back, that can help formulate these groups again, because people used to getting together. You mentioned earlier that the one that was in horse country, Commissioner Javier Soto is 32 years, by the way, serving us in Miami-Dade County. Prior to that, he was state representative, state senator. My hats off to him and helping us, especially in horse country. And the Horse and Cattle Show and Livestock Show.
Yes.
All right. So, and next year it'll be back. So when there are groups of people along the street, can the county supply a policeman or something like that? How does that work? So
that's a little bit, it kind of depends on the situation. In that particular, the ones that I've done, we did one with former Commissioner Moss in his district down south. That was the first one. That was the inaugural one, in fact, that we did several years back. And then we did the one with the state representative and with Commissioner Soto. They request through their offices. They request a police presence.
That's how you do it, folks. Go to your local commissioner's office. Do the cities different than the county, folks? Do the cities have similar programs? Some of them?
I don't know.
What do you think, Liz?
I believe they would all be participating in our program because this program was put together through Miami-Dade County Beautiful Initiative, like Keep Miami-Dade County Beautiful, the Department of Solid Waste Management, the county's Park, Recreation, and Open Space departments, and that was all done through Neat Streets Miami, which is that initiative. So I think this kind of all puts us all together.
Yeah, ours, I think we would only do unincorporated.
Yeah, our service areas.
Okay. So I know lots of times the kids need community hours, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And they can qualify if they do this.
They definitely can. Yeah.
All right. So moms, dad, get them out on the roads. All right, all weekend long, Saturdays and Sunday.
Believe you me, the one that we did that I told you about, that quite a few people showed up, and a lot of them were volunteer groups, kids. My arm got tired from signing those forms, but yes, we did grant them. I don't remember how many hours we granted them of volunteer, but yes, my arm got tired from signing, and I only signed part of them. I didn't sign all of them.
We used to have a torture program for young students. You got to go and clean the presses, and they come out and they go, "I'm going to college." I said, "Good for you." So, this morning I was driving down the road. I see some guy flick something right out of the car. And it's just like, I just can't believe that he did that. If he just left it in the car in a little bag there, and then when he gets home, throw that out. So let's talk about how prevalent either littering, which is small amounts of stuff thrown out a window, if you will, versus dumping. How prevalent is, let's start with littering, because there are an awful lot of cars on the road.
I'll let Liz answer that one.
So there was actually an interesting study done last year by Keep America Beautiful, their 2020 litter study. You can Google that. And it talked about how it was done throughout the US. In all of the US, there's about 152 pieces of litter per person. That's about how much litter there is out there.
Is that in a year or a day?
I believe in a year.
In a year.
Like
Okay. A day
total.
sounds like too much.
Because the total number is somewhere in
That's
the
every day,
billions.
throwing
Yeah,
stuff out the
But
window.
that's the average.
about 150.
So there are people that are conscientious and don't litter. So that means that the ones who don't care, like the guy that tossed that stuff out the window, probably does it like 300, enough for two people, 304
Mhm.
times.
So how do people get trained themselves, not in a negative way, to go, this is not the right thing to do, I'm just going to take it home? All right, what has to happen to our psyches to where we stop littering?
I think what you mentioned about what actually goes on, you threw that piece of trash on the floor because it made it more convenient for your life, but you're actually, the larger scheme of things, somebody has to report it, somebody has to come get it, somebody has to take it somewhere. It's a lot more time and effort than you just putting it in the trash yourself and holding on to it. I don't think people have taken the time to have that thought process of what actually happens to it after they put it on the curb.
And I know our little ones, when they learn that early, all right, that it goes to the parents. I think I mentioned when my daughter's about this big, she comes up, she says, if you hit me, Daddy, I'm calling the police. And I go, that's wonderful. Where did you learn that? At school. I said, perfect, right? Because that's where it all starts. So tell us about some of the programs that you hope could get into the school system and for the young people.
Well, we do presentations for this. Yeah.
So when do you think you'll be able to start back up?
Frank?
Hopefully, next school year, we do currently have our own.
You talk about 22, 23, or
no? By next school year, I mean like this fall.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll see how how things go with COVID. We do have our own online virtual webinar series that we're running every Thursday on our social media, on our Facebook, and also through Zoom. And every once in a while, this topic is one of the ones that we talk about. So that's another possibility. And once it's on Facebook, just as with you guys have the YouTube channel, the Facebook, you can find videos there that have, for all this time, we kind of have an archive there as well. So
one of the most impactful videos that I saw during COVID was areas where there weren't any boats or planes and how clean they were. We had a beautiful shot of Biscayne Bay before, and then during COVID, it was like the Bahamas. It was like perfectly clear and everything. And we come along, of course, in our lives, we managed to muck it up, right? And I think that impact is really there. It really made a difference to me, and I hope to a lot of people. Don't throw that plastic bottle away like that. Put it where it needs to go. So let's talk about recycling. Can we do that?
sure.
Okay. Do I go to Liz?
I think we both know enough
Okay.
about it.
So let's talk about the green cans, the out front green carts, and the blue carts. All right. What goes in the blue cart? Blue
Yes.
and green.
Green.
How much better is that?
Yeah.
Perfectly
Perfect.
planned. All right.
No, it wasn't planned actually. If I was a better planner, I'd be wearing the green shirt as well, because we're going to be talking about that. This is one item definitely empty, of course. This one still has the water in it. Plastic bottles though, that's the thing. We get people confusing and thinking that plastic, and then they think they don't hear the word bottle, they just hear the word plastic. That they can throw yogurt tubs in there. They can throw those little clamshells that are annoying. That they sell lots of everything from food to stuff you buy at the store. Those you can't. It's just the key is the narrow neck. So a plastic bottle, and it can be a water bottle, it can be a laundry detergent bottle, it can be a soda bottle. As long as it's a bottle, plastic bottle, it's fine. Aluminum and cans, food cans, beverage cans are fine. Just lightly rinse them. Cardboard, any type of cardboard, like your cereal boxes, stuff like that, as long as it's empty. Cardboard boxes, except for pizza. We've gone through this many a time before about the pizza boxes.
And I remind everybody every Friday pizza day.
If it's a cardboard box with food in it, that had food in it, chances are it's going to have food residue, and you don't want to put that in recycling. That should go in the garbage.
So, Liz, we know that more people are taking food to go. McDonald's is not incumbent 70-80% of the business. Chinese places, they've been doing Chinese takeout forever, and you see all these different type of containers which go into people's homes and send it to the commercial, business. So, which ones of those are recyclable? We have the clear ones that look like the hamburger thing there, and then they got all these other ones. But if that has food in it, they should put it in which can?
Probably the
Trash.
green, the
Yeah.
garbage,
Yes. All right.
most likely.
So, all right, we clear on that? So
If it
knock
has-
all the rice out of that thing.
Important to know, if it has food, like cooked food, like McDonald's burger comes in the cardboard box, that should go out in the garbage. But cereal comes in a cardboard box, it's dry and has a liner. You remove the liner out, bingo presto, the box is nice and clean. You can put that in recycling.
I think with this whole recycling, you have to make a conscious decision to participate in that. Because if you were just doing it on, well, I just think it would be okay. No, you have to really think it through. But inquiring minds want to know when something's going to be invented that people can throw their pizza box into that thing without mucking up the machine.
I don't know when that'll happen.
Big machines, right? All right.
If
No.
they could remove the oil somehow before it gets into the recycling process, I don't know.
We also need to push for it. The more people recycle, the more we'll create things like that and programs like that.
So, and I notice on our street, I don't see the blue carts out there very much. And I realize personally we're not recycling enough, because I look in the can and the blue thing, and there's not much in it. And I go, okay, all right, that's been in there for a week. Where's all the other stuff? So it hasn't even made it through the family yet to be able to say, here, put it over here. So that winds up going into the green carts. But so people know, if it goes in the green cart, it doesn't get recycled, sort of, because it gets fired up.
In our county, yes.
All right.
If it's part of our system, yes.
And then it produces steam, produces energy, electricity. You power the plant and 35,000 homes,
yes.
which is incredible. All right. So there's been big talk about solar power, and coming strong. It seems to be moving along very nicely. On the vehicles that the solid waste department uses, tell us about what's the fuel for those?
Most of them now use diesel because you don't have much of a choice. We do have some that use CNG, compressed natural gas. We did recently, as a matter of fact, receive a grant, or were awarded a grant by the EPA, about $1.9 million, close to $1.9 million. Neighborhood of 25 trucks that are low emission diesel vehicles. And of course, our department directors is in the past stated as the ultimate goal, or the ultimate dream would be that our waste to energy facility, where we create electrical power, is recharging electric powered waste collection vehicles or garbage trucks. That's our hope and our dream for the future. It's not there now. We're not there now, but that's what we're hoping to achieve sometime in the future.
When we look in 5 and 10 year increments, you go, wow, look what's happened so often in making our lives better. Let's talk about on the beach. All right. People just love to litter beaches. Why is that, Frank?
I can't tell you. It's human nature. It's the same thing. The same guy that drove down the street and threw that little piece of garbage you saw out there is probably on his way to the beach to dump even more garbage. I don't know. It's similar. If your thinking is such that you're willing to throw something out of your car, when you go to the beach, you're probably willing to do the same thing.
So one of the things that I watch people, and myself in particular, if I throw something into one of the trash cans when I miss, I know that if I don't bend down and be good exercise, throw it down. If I don't pick it up, right, that begins that awfulness training of it's okay to pretend to try, but to leave it there, right? So tell us, if you would, about the beach cleanups and how somebody can participate in that.
Okay. So the beach cleanups with Let's Clean Things Up, we service our area. So if you are a DSWM customer, we will definitely help you with your let's clean things up in your neighborhoods. When it comes to beaches, you would have to reach out to the municipality in which you live. They will most likely be able to help you with the beach cleanups because that's a whole other jurisdiction. And usually the beaches are taken care of by the city under which they fall.
And,
So-
and to dovetail off of that a little bit, I know that there's a big bonanza that's been going on for decades now, actually, event by Durham, and they have a coastal cleanup. So people who are interested, and that usually takes place in the spring. I don't know if it was suspended this year because of COVID. That I don't know for sure, but that's something that folks who want to focus on a beach or a coastal cleanup can look into that because they've been doing that for decades now.
So there's no question when we look at it in the ocean, it's just not sitting on the ground and that cockroaches are going to eat it. In the ocean, we understand some of the implications, which are it's going to float around for a long time. Maybe some birds can get it, some turtles, and you have these little microparticles that go down, and we see that. All right, yeah. I raise exotic birds, and sometimes they'll get into that stuff. Right, you give the wrong wood, guess what? You get pressure treated, guess what? They're going to eat it. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to get sick. And when they get sick,
that's it. Yeah.
So the impact that videos and photographs have on the young minds, and even whether you're 6 years old or 60, to see the before and after pictures and before and after videos and the negative impact that it can have, I think that's really something that's significant that everybody most people could buy into as far as how to keep them clean. Are there some other areas, Frank, in Dade County that need help as far as cleanup that the county gets to but would like some help?
Off the top of my head, I don't know of any specific areas. I can tell you that there are probably quite a few countywide. We do get requests regularly to do cleanups, and sometimes, unfortunately, they don't fall within our jurisdiction. And the ones that do fall in our jurisdiction, we do whatever we can to help. Sometimes we are actually present there and do, like more of a hands-on type of situation. In other cases, we're able to provide the plastic bags and borrow the pick sticks of plastic bags. Of course, you don't have to borrow. you do have to return them with the garbage, and we'll actually take them away.
So let's talk about
part of our program
in the Homestead area in Redland, not the city, but in the county part. On the sides of many of those roads, you're doing 50 miles an hour. Forget the people that are dumping stuff, but there's always is a lot of trash down there. And I know that we touch on it. A lot of the farmers are getting pushed around by people that are illegally dumping their stuff. Mm-hmm. And what is it that they can do? And I know there've been meetings off and on for years, and I was looking up the other day. What is it they could do and do promptly when they see somebody's dumped something to join their property or perhaps on their property?
The first thing you can do right away is report it. If they see it in the act, that's potentially a little bit better. We always tell people with illegal dumping, if you see it in the act, don't run out there. You don't know how these people, if they're willing to do this illegal thing, you don't know what else they're willing to do. Call the police. If you're seeing them doing it in the act, call the police. Try to get the tag number, description of the vehicle, description of the person or persons involved. You can report it to the police because it's a crime in progress. If it's after the fact, if you go and you just see the pile, call it in right away to 311.
And when we look at that, I wonder about the new law saying that there can't be any more, for the most part, anonymous complaints. Do you think is that going to affect the people that are being called on that are littering and people seeing it?
It could potentially. I mean, I don't know for sure. I can't tell you for sure because I don't know what's going through somebody's mind when they report or when they think or maybe second guess themselves, knowing that this law is in place. I imagine it'll affect it to some degree. To what degree, I don't know.
One of the things I do when I report things, and sometimes it's anonymous, sometimes it's just right out, I look at the situation and find if there's a public health hazard to it. I look at it where I can sincerely say, there's a stick, it looks like a rake that is sticking out in the street, and somebody's going to hit that thing, and somebody's going to get hurt, all right? Mm-hmm. And I almost always do that. I find that it's real. I'm not making it up because you don't want somebody to get hurt, all right? And I don't want to go over to the pile, all right? Years ago, we used to many years ago, we're delivering newsstand. A policeman pulls me over. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm delivering newsstands." He said, "How do I know you're not picking them up?" I said, "Good points." He said, "Good point. I'm actually putting them out. Are you sure?" I go, "Yes, here's my driver's license." So you want to make, if you see somebody dumping stuff, get a picture of their license plate and call the police. If somebody gets convicted of dumping, what are the range of the fines plus the grief?
The fines can range anywhere from, if you're not considered commercial, and there's two criteria for that. It's either you're in a regular car, not one with commercial markings, or you're below a certain amount, and I don't know off the top of my head how much it is. The lowest fine you can get is about $250, $260. Then if you're considered commercial, and that would be, again, vehicle with commercial markings, or you go over a certain amount of material, the fine starts at about $1,000. It can go to about $2,500.
Liz, I got a question for you. How long you been with the county now?
8 months.
Okay, good. So this is a good question for you. I've seen where there've been big empty, big pieces of property where it's sort of a miniature dump, and the local landscapers go to that property and they pay the land renter or owner X dollars and to dump it there. Then the landowner or whoever's running it then puts it all into some 18-wheeler and then goes, dumps it, pays somebody to do that. Is that permitted?
That is a good question. If they have permits with us, they're allowed to do that. I know I can't speak about the land receiving the material. I can tell you that, at least as far as like the people driving the stuff, if they are a permitted waste hauler, they would have to be permitted through us. But if they are a permitted waste hauler, they're allowed to haul waste. If they are hauling waste without a permit, they are subject to being fined, to being caught by our.
But they got to dump it somewhere. I assume that they're not dumping it on the side of the road, 18-wheeler packed with stuff.
I hope not.
I
hope not.
Because that is a lot of stuff. So then, but the authorities have to look at somebody like that and go, well, of course, it has to be gathered someplace. But anyway, we'll see. All right, what happens with that? So we have the school back in session. These people's shopping habits are starting to change. We're seeing that. All right, there'll be more people eating at home. All right, rather than out. That probably starts in 3 or 4 weeks, and people need to be reminded when they take their carts out. So, what days for most of the people's?
It's either for the green carts, garbage, your day, if you're served by us, it's either Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Friday. And your recycling is going to be one of those, typically is going to be one of the days that they pick up your garbage.
Okay. Liz, what do we do with those old cans of paint and oil and gasoline that just sitting in that garage for the last 6 months or 6 years?
Take them to your local home chemical center. We have several ones throughout Miami-Dade County. You can look it up online and go to the one nearest to you.
So how do you get people from going, what a pain that is? I'm going to have to put that in my car, hope it doesn't spill, all right? It's going to stink like crazy, and then I'm going to pray that they're open and pray they're going to take the stuff. What has to happen internally that people are going to do that?
You have to realize that it's bad for the environment if you just throw stuff out with irregular garbage. And in some cases, it can be very bad immediately to the environment. For example, if you dump like liquid paint into the garbage and it leaks out of the truck, or when the truck lifts the arm, the lid falls off, the lid comes off of the cart, and there goes the paint on the ground right in front of your house.
Son of a gun!
Instant karma. So that's why you have to be careful.
Frank, I got a question. Actually, I'm doing a bulk pickup. Can I put a barbecue grill in there as long as there's no electric starter and no propane?
As long as there's no gas, yeah, that should be fine.
Okay.
There you go. Tommy, thank you. Speaking of that, how'd the Marlins do last night?
They won.
Well, thank goodness. All right. So here we are. And we have talked to a lot of the departments at Miami-Dade County. And and I think most people are so appreciative of the great job you do and how open you are to this. And, when you're growing up, it's like you have some connection to that. But throughout the system, all right, we see passionate people that care about their particular jobs and providing this wonderful service, to all of us. And as I go around, unfortunately, I look, oh, there's a trash pile there. I wonder if he called a couple days ahead. Is his grass going to die over there? So if some people can go on at miami-dade.gov, look up your department, and they can go on some of the virtual tours of that, so mom and dad could show their kids how to do that. Jean Marie Mossy was here a few weeks ago. Massa,
Yes.
she brought us a orange coat with an orange hat, and we went on a tour, and it was really sort of marvelous. And as I said before, I like the hat where you can screw it down on your head. There, I do hope that the Miami-Dade County, creates and continues working with the young people, because that's really where the change really starts. And because we want to be examples for our children and our grandchildren, sometimes it comes that way and forces us to do that. And as we get ready to wrap up here, let's talk about over at Matheson and Hammock. All right, lots of times in those mangroves through there, people are there with their boats and and beach and everything. Are there cleanups over there that the county is involved with?
I can't tell you for sure. I know that we aren't. It's possible that falls under Bonanza, but I can't 100%. That would be a good question for somebody from Durham.
Okay. And just so folks, see if I got the figures right, there are around 340,000 customers that get service from their garbage get picked up twice, more or less, twice a week, and every 2 weeks for the blue cans. When you pick up for the blue cans, are those usually full or partway full? It's like I'm thinking, I don't know, to have the guy come out, and to be there, all right. So
it seems most of them are full, and in some cases overfull. Stuff coming out but I can't tell you how many of them are. What I can tell you is that the default when people there's 3 sizes of carts for both the garbage and the blue recycling. The default for the garbage is the largest one, which is 96 gallon. The default for recycling is the middle one, which is 65 gallon. If you want to change the size of your cart, whether it's on the garbage side or the blue side, it's free of charge. Just call 311. They'll change it out for you. If you're filling up your cart and you're like finding it's not enough, you can ask for the larger size one. If that's still not enough, you can actually get a second recycling cart, free of charge again.
Well, I'm watching on my green cards. They were going to fall apart before I got any new ones, right? Because it's like, I'm going to make this sucker work. And I'm looking at it the other day. And it's just a thing. What can I tell you? Anyway, great service. And when the guys come out, I look down the street. They're very friendly, wave to them. They pick up the stuff. And it's really amazing. I know they do a lot of homes every day throughout the county. Tell us about when it's raining season, which is now, and people don't close the top. What does that mean when it's raining a lot into those carts?
Well, I don't know if the carts have holes for the water to run out at the bottom. I imagine they do. I can't say for sure. You're asking me off of memory, but in any event, even if assuming it does, the garbage itself will get soaked, and that makes the cart heavier, and that can become a problem for the trucks when they lift up the arm. I don't know what the capacity is off the top of my head again, but
people should
heavy.
People should
close the lid.
Okay, and the handle's in.
And the handle faces in towards your house. Handle the wheels to your house.
Yes.
To your house. If you think of the lid opening up as like a big mouth, have the mouth facing the street.
Okay. And I stand like this. I can't believe I'm doing that. God, I cannot.
5 feet apart. Yeah. If you've seen the arms, you see that they need a little bit of room to work with.
But these guys are magicians, really. When you figure out what they do, and some of the carts are crooked, and they do all this stuff, and they put it in, and they make them straight. It's really my head's off to them. Okay. Hurricane season's coming up. We want people to trim their trees so they don't fall in their pool, crack their heads and their house. When should people do that? And when should they, if they're cutting it, when should they call in?
Well, preferably they should have done it already, because hurricane season is already hurricane season is already here. But we don't have any any imminent danger of any storm. So if you have a chance, if you haven't done it yet, if you have a chance, now might be a good time before the next storm starts to threaten, because when that happens, then we just get swamped with requests. At some point, excuse me, at some point we try to make a judgment call and realize we're getting so many calls in, and we'll only be able to have so much. We'll only be able to pick up so many piles before the storm becomes real or gets close enough to us. So they stop allowing people to even schedule them. So that's why the time to do it is if you've got anything, if you know you got to do some tree pruning in your yard, remove some material that you don't want there in case a hurricane comes, now is the time to do it.
Okay, Liz, we're going to wrap up with you. Tell a young person out there why they should be involved with Let's clean up things up.
You should be involved with Let's Clean Things Up so that you can make a difference in your community. Keep it clean, keep it a community that you can be proud to live in. Also, you probably didn't do any community service during 2020 and you need some hours, so you should join our event so you can get those hours for school.
Great. Again, thank you for joining us, folks. Liz Biswell and Frank Calderon from the Miami-Dade Solid Waste Department. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be looking. Where are we looking? Right over there. Okay. Again, thanks for joining us. Thank you very much for being here and for helping us throughout the county. Folks, enjoy your afternoon and thank you for joining us. Have a good day.